I'm Dr. John Dabach, and I answer your questions about relationships. We got an email in from Jessica in Houston, Texas. Dear John, I found out my husband has a second phone that he keeps hidden. He says it's for privacy and that everyone deserves that, but he won't show me what's on it. He says my reaction proves why he needs it. I feel like I'm going crazy trying to figure out what's real. How do you handle something like this without losing your mind? Jessica, you're not going crazy. You're being put in a situation that's designed to make you feel crazy. And I want to be really clear about something right out of the gate. A hidden second phone in a marriage is not normal. It's not standard. It's not just privacy. It is secrecy. And secrecy in a marriage is a problem. Period. Full stop. I don't care how he wants to spin it. I don't care how calm he sounds when he says it. I don't care if he uses therapy language like boundaries and autonomy and privacy. This is not that. Privacy is I have my own thoughts, I have my own journal, I don't need to share every single text message with you in real time. Secrecy is different. Secrecy is I have a completely separate device that I hide from you and refuse to show you. Those are not the same thing. Not even close. So let's stop playing the game right now because he's trying to redefine reality in a way that benefits him and leaves you questioning yourself. That is why you're feeling like you're losing your mind. Because on one hand, your instincts are screaming something is off. This doesn't make sense. This feels wrong. And on the other hand, he's telling you, no, you're overreacting. This is normal. Your reaction is the problem. And that disconnect between what you feel and what you're being told is real, is exactly what creates that spinning, disoriented feeling. And it's not an accident. Whether he's doing it consciously or not, it puts him in control of the narrative and it puts you on the defensive. Now, let's talk about the phone itself, because I don't want to dance around the obvious. People who have secret second phones are usually doing one of a very few things. They're having an affair, they're engaging in some kind of behavior they know their partner would not be okay with, and it could be a few different things, right? It could be explicit conversations, it could be emotional relationships, porn habits they're hiding, could be financial stuff, whatever it is, okay? It's something you wouldn't approve of or they think you wouldn't approve of, or less commonly, they have some kind of extreme need for control and compartmentalization that still, by the way, does not belong in a healthy marriage. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, it could be nothing. Could it technically be something benign? Yeah, sure, it could be. Is that likely? No. And you already know that. That's why you wrote in. Now, here's where people get tripped up. They think the problem is figuring out exactly what's on the phone. They go into detective mode. They start trying to gather evidence, check records, follow patterns, look for clues. And I get that impulse. I really do. You want certainty. You want proof so that you can finally say, see, I knew it. I'm not crazy. But here's the truth. That's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of emotional energy. You don't need to know what's on the phone to know that the situation is unacceptable. The existence of a hidden phone and the refusal to be transparent, that's enough. That's already enough. That is the issue. Even if you opened that phone tomorrow and it was completely empty, the behavior of hiding it and lying about it and then turning it back on you, that's a massive, it is still a massive breach of trust. So stop chasing the contents and start looking at the pattern, because the pattern tells you everything you need to know about the health of this relationship. Now let's talk about his response, because this is where it really crosses the line. He says your reaction proves why he needs it. That is classic reversal. Classic. Instead of addressing the behavior, he makes your reaction the problem. That's like someone setting your house on fire and then saying, see, look how upset you are. This is why I can't be honest with you. It's nonsense. It's baloney. It's crazy talk. Your reaction is not the cause of the secrecy. The secrecy is the cause of your reaction. And if he can get you to believe that you're the problem, then he never has to actually take responsibility for what he's doing. That's how this dynamic stays stuck. So what do? Because right now, You're stuck in this loop of suspicion, denial, and self-doubt. So first thing, you anchor yourself back in reality. You say to yourself very clearly, this is not normal. This is not okay. And I'm not crazy for reacting to it. You have to get that straight in your own head before you try to have any conversation with him. Because if you go in unsure of your own footing, he will knock you off balance again. Second, you stop arguing about privacy versus secrecy. That debate goes nowhere because he's already decided what words he wants to use. You bring it back to something much simpler: transparency and trust. In a committed marriage, any committed relationship, especially one where you're sharing a life, finances, kids, responsibilities, there's an expectation of basic transparency. Not surveillance, not control, but transparency. If you have nothing to hide, you don't really need a hidden phone. It's that simple. Third, you set a boundary. Not a threat, not an emotional outburst, not a please just help me understand. A boundary. Let me explain what that sounds like, okay? I am not willing to be in a marriage where there are hidden devices and no transparency. If we're going to continue this relationship, I need full honesty in what's going on, and I need access to that phone. Not because I want to police you, but because trust has already been broken, and rebuilding trust requires openness. And then you zip it. You stop talking. You let him respond. And this is the moment of truth, because his response will very often, if not always, tell you everything you need to know. If he gets angry, if he deflects, if he doubles down, if he tells you you're controlling, that tells you you're insecure, maybe he refuses to budge. Then you have your answer. Not about the phone, but about him. He's choosing secrecy over the relationship. If he pauses, if he thinks about it, if he shows any sign of understanding or contemplation, if he says, okay, I get why this looks bad, let's talk about it, that's different. Then you have a road you can go down. That's a path where there might be something to work with. But it requires real openness, not partial truths, and not trickle honesty. And here's the part you may not want to hear. You have to be prepared to act on that boundary. Because if you say this is not acceptable and then you stay no matter what, you're teaching him that it is acceptable and that the behavior doesn't just go away, right? It has to stop. It cannot continue. Because if it continues, I guarantee it's going to escalate. You get more secrecy, more denial, more confusion. That's how people end up 5, 10 years down the line in relationships where they feel completely disconnected from reality. They ignored the early obvious signs because they didn't want to deal with the consequences. Jessica, this is one of those early obvious signs. It's not subtle. It's not ambiguous. It's loud. It's in your face. And I want to say one more thing about you feeling like you're losing your mind. That feeling goes away the moment you stop outsourcing your reality to him. Right now, you're looking at him to tell you what's real. He says it's privacy, so you start questioning yourself. He says your reaction is the problem, so you start shrinking your reaction. That's the trap. You don't need his agreement to trust your own instincts. You don't need him to validate that this is off. You already know it is. The question is not, how do you handle this without losing your mind? The question is, how long are you really willing to stay in a situation that is actively making you feel this way? Because peace of mind is not something you negotiate for. It's something that you protect. And right now, it's not being protected in this relationship. If you have a question you want me to answer, there's a link in the description to submit it to me. And don't forget to like and subscribe.